I never thought my own grandchildren would be used against me as weapons of manipulation. My name is Margaret, I'm 68 years old, and this is the story of how the love I carefully built was turned into a bargaining chip by someone who was supposed to be part of my family. It all started so subtly that I didn't even realize when I crossed the line from being an involved grandmother to becoming an emotional hostage. When my son Robert married Jennifer, I was genuinely happy. She seemed polite, had a good job as a marketing manager, and my son was glowing. I made an effort to be the mother-in-law I would have wanted, respectful, discreet, always available but never intrusive. When the twins were born, Emma and Lucas, my world gained new colors. I remember the day I first held those two little beings in my arms. Emma had a soft cry, like a kitten, while Lucas wailed with all the strength in his lungs. From the very first second, I knew my purpose as a grandmother would be to love them unconditionally. Robert and Jennifer lived just 20 minutes away, in a quiet neighborhood in Portland, Oregon. In the early years, I saw the twins at least 3 times a week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I picked the kids up from daycare and stayed with them until Robert got off work. On Saturdays, they slept over at my house. I had a whole routine prepared for them. On Friday nights, I made chocolate pancakes and let them decorate them with fruit and whipped cream. Then we'd watch cartoons curled up on the big living room couch. Lucas always chose dinosaur stories, and Emma loved princesses, but not the traditional ones. She liked the warrior ones, the ones who fought dragons. On Saturday mornings, we did little projects together. We planted an herb garden on my balcony. Each child had their own pot. Lucas took care of the basil, Emma the rosemary. They watered them, touched the leaves, smelled their fingers afterward. "Grandma, basil smells like pizza," Lucas would say, laughing. I taught Emma how to make beaded bracelets. She had impressive patience for a 6-year-old, carefully choosing each color and creating patterns. Lucas preferred action. We built forts with sheets and pillows, and he defended our castle from imaginary dragons with a wooden spoon. There was something sacred about those moments. When Emma suddenly hugged me and said, "I love you, Grandma," or when Lucas fell asleep in my lap while watching TV, his gentle breathing against my chest, I felt that life had given me a gift I didn't deserve but for which I was infinitely grateful. I wasn't perfect. Sometimes I let them eat too many sweets. Sometimes I was too lenient about bedtime. But I loved those children with every fiber of my being, and they knew it. The change was so gradual that at first I thought I was imagining things. It started when the twins turned 7. Jennifer casually mentioned she was thinking of putting them in more extracurricular activities. "They need to develop, Margaret. Dance for Emma, soccer for Lucas. It's important for their future." I agreed, of course. Every child deserves opportunities. But then, suddenly, the Tuesdays and Thursdays I spent with them became too busy with those activities. "Margaret, it won't work for you to pick up the kids today. Lucas's soccer practice changed times. Emma has dance rehearsal that runs late. I'll pick her up myself." The Saturday sleepovers at my house also started to decrease, from every week to every other week, then once a month. When I called to talk to the kids, Jennifer would answer and say they were busy with homework, or tired, or in the bath. "I'll tell them you called, Margaret. They'll call you back." But they rarely did. I tried not to take it personally. Jennifer worked a lot, and I understood that raising children is challenging. But deep in my heart something started to ache, a dull pain of feeling pushed away without being able to pinpoint exactly how or why. One afternoon, I was at the supermarket when I saw Emma and Lucas with Jennifer. My heart leapt with joy. I ran toward them with a huge smile. "Emma, Lucas, what a wonderful surprise." Emma hugged me right away, but Jennifer gently pulled both kids back. "Margaret, what a coincidence. We're in a rush, but we'll talk later, okay?" A rush. They were choosing cereal, with no visible hurry. But before I could say anything, Jennifer was already steering the children toward another aisle. Lucas looked back and waved, but he was gone before he could talk to me. I stood there in the middle of the dairy aisle, feeling a stab of rejection I couldn't explain. It was on Thanksgiving that everything started to make cruel sense. Traditionally, the family gathered at my house for Thanksgiving. I made the turkey, the pumpkin pie, the mashed potatoes with that special gravy Robert had loved since childhood. But that year, Jennifer announced they were having an intimate celebration, just the four of us. "But I can come, can't I?" I asked, trying not to sound desperate. "Margaret, we want to create our own traditions as a nuclear family. You understand, right? Maybe at Christmas." Christmas came. And again, they didn't come. "The kids have a slight cold. Better not risk it," was the excuse. I spent Christmas alone, staring at the carefully wrapped presents I had bought for Emma and Lucas. A dinosaur Lego set for Lucas. A science kit for Emma, who was fascinated by experiments. On the morning of the 25th, the house was silent. I played Christmas music just so I wouldn't hear the emptiness. I made a small turkey, but it tasted like nothing. I cried there, alone at the kitchen table, in front of a plate I barely touched. That's when I began to understand. The children's visits had become bargaining chips. A few weeks after New Year's, Robert called me. His voice was tense, strange. "Mom, Jennifer mentioned that you've been criticizing her parenting choices." I froze. "What?" "Robert, I never. When did I criticize?" "She said you commented that they spend too much time in activities and don't have a real childhood." I had said that, but months earlier, in a casual conversation, with no aggression. I had simply remarked that when Robert was a child, he had a lot of free play time, and that was important too. It was just an observation, not a criticism. "Robert, I was just talking." It wasn't a criticism of Jennifer. Well, she felt disrespected. "And honestly, Mom, I think you need to give us some space. Jennifer thinks you're interfering too much." Interfering? I had barely seen my grandchildren in months. But arguing didn't help. Robert was completely on her side. Then Jennifer started using the children directly. One day she called me. Her voice was strangely sweet, fake. "Margaret, I need a favor. Could you watch the kids on Friday night? Robert and I are going out to dinner." My heart leapt. Finally. Of course. I'd love to. Great. But there's one thing. Do you remember that gold bracelet your mother left you? I always thought it was beautiful. Would you be willing to lend it to me for the dinner? I was speechless for a second. My mother's bracelet was one of the few sentimental treasures I had. "Jennifer, that bracelet it means a lot to me." "Oh, I understand." Her voice instantly turned cold. "No problem. Forget about watching the kids then. I'll find another babysitter." "Wait, Jennifer." But she hung up. I stared at the phone, incredulous. She had really just conditioned my time with my grandchildren on lending her a family heirloom? That's when I realized, this wasn't about respect. This was pure and simple control. The months that followed were the loneliest of my life. I woke up in the morning and the first thing I thought about was the twins. Did Lucas still like dinosaurs? Had Emma grown taller? Did they still remember me? I texted Robert. "How are the kids?" Short replies. "Fine. Busy. Talk later." I bought little gifts whenever I saw something they'd like, but had no way to give them. I missed their 8th birthday party. I wasn't invited. I found out through social media. Jennifer posted pictures of an elaborate superhero-themed party. Dozens of kids. A clown. A giant cake. I wasn't there. I commented on the photo. "What a beautiful party. Hope to see you all soon." Jennifer liked the comment but never replied. I started having insomnia. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and stare at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every interaction, trying to figure out where I had gone wrong. Had I been an intrusive mother-in-law? Had I criticized too much? Had I loved too much? My friend Helen told me, "Margaret, you did nothing wrong. This is alienation. She's using the children to have power over you." But even knowing that, the pain didn't lessen. Then came the phone call that shattered my heart. It was a Tuesday, around 11 in the morning. I was tending the garden when the phone rang. It was Robert. "Mom, I need to tell you something." His tone was far too serious. My stomach turned. What happened? Are the kids okay? Yes, they're fine. But we've decided to move. The world stopped. Move. To where? Austin, Texas. Jennifer got an amazing promotion, and I can work remotely. It's an opportunity we can't pass up. Austin. Over 1,800 miles away. Robert, when? End of the month. End of the month. 3 weeks. You weren't going to tell me before deciding? Mom, it all happened very fast. We're still processing it. And the kids. Can I at least say goodbye to them? Can I see them before you go? There was a long pause. Too long. Jennifer thinks it would be easier for the children if the goodbye was quick. No drama. No drama. My voice broke. Robert, I'm their grandmother. I love them. I deserve at least a goodbye hug. I'll see what I can do, Mom. But he never saw what he could do. The following week, they moved. Without me seeing the children. No goodbyes. No hugs. I found out about the move because a neighbor told me she saw the moving truck in front of their house. In the months that followed, I tried to stay in touch. I called, texted, sent cards in the mail. Replies were sparse. The kids are adjusting, Mom. I'll ask them to call when they have time. But they never had time. I sent Christmas presents. I never knew if they arrived, because no one thanked me. I spent my 69th birthday alone. Helen invited me to dinner, but I declined. I couldn't pretend I was okay. The house was too quiet. The bedrooms where the twins used to sleep remained untouched. The beds made. The toys put away. Like a museum of a life that no longer existed. I cried in the shower, where no one could hear me. I cried from longing, from anger, from helplessness. I had lost my grandchildren, and there was nothing I could do. Almost a year after the move, my phone rang. It was an unknown Texas number. I answered with a tight heart. Hello, Grandma. It was Emma. I started crying instantly. Emma, my love, is that you? Grandma, I took Mom's phone in secret. Her voice was low, nervous. Lucas and I missed you. Why did you stop seeing us? My heart broke again. My love, I never stopped wanting to see you. Never. Mom said you were very busy. That you had a new life and no time for us. I closed my eyes, anger rising. Jennifer had lied to the children. She had made them think I had abandoned them. Emma, I was never too busy for you. Never. I think about you and Lucas every single day. Really, really. I love you more than anything in the world. I heard a noise on the other end. Jennifer. Emma, who's on the phone? Her voice was harsh. Grandma, I have to hang up. The call ended. I immediately called Robert. He didn't answer. I sent messages. Nothing. The next day, I received a cold text from Jennifer. Margaret, please do not attempt direct contact with the children. They need stability, and you are confusing them. If you truly love them, you will respect our boundaries. Boundaries. As if a grandmother's love could have imposed limits. But something about that call with Emma changed me. I realized I couldn't keep being passive. The children wanted to talk to me. They hadn't forgotten me. They had been manipulated. And I wasn't going to let it continue. I consulted a lawyer. Margaret, in Oregon, grandparents have the right to petition for visitation under certain circumstances, he explained. But when the parents are married and the grandchildren live out of state, it's more complicated. Not impossible, but complicated. I didn't care about complicated. I cared about Emma and Lucas. I started the legal process, not because I wanted to fight, but because I needed to make sure my grandchildren knew I had fought for them. When Robert received the court papers, he called me, furious. "Mom, you're suing us? Seriously?" "Robert, I'm not suing anyone. I'm asking for the right to see my grandchildren. Something that should never have been taken from me. You're destroying this family." "No, Robert. I'm trying to save my relationship with my grandchildren before it's too late." He hung up on me. Months went by. The case moved slowly, and I lived in constant anxiety. Then one night, my phone rang. It was Robert. But his voice was different. Broken. "Mom, we need to talk." My heart raced. "What happened?" "Jennifer and we're separating." Silence. "Robert." "She was having an affair, Mom. 4 months. Even before we moved here. The promotion. She wanted to come to Austin to be close to the guy." I couldn't feel satisfaction. Only deep sadness for my son. "I'm so sorry, Robert. And there's more." He took a deep breath. "I confronted her about you. About how she pushed you away from the kids. And she admitted it, Mom. She said she saw you as a threat. That the kids loved you too much, and she didn't want to share their attention." I closed my eyes, tears falling. "She lied to the children, Mom. Told them you didn't want to see them anymore. Said you had complained they were too tiring. All lies." "Robert, how are the kids?" "Confused. Hurt. They ask about you. Can I talk to them?" "Yes. And more than that. I'm moving back to Portland. With the kids. We'll be close to you again." 3 months later, I was at the airport, holding a bouquet of flowers, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. When I saw Emma and Lucas come through the arrival gate, my eyes filled with tears. They had grown. Emma was taller, with long hair. Lucas had lost his front teeth and now wore braces. For a second, they hesitated, almost as if they didn't recognize me. But then Emma ran, and Lucas right behind her. I knelt down and opened my arms, and they threw themselves at me with such force they almost knocked me over. "Grandma," Emma sobbed. "I missed you so much." "Me too, my love. Me too." Lucas squeezed my neck. "Mom lied to us, didn't she?" I stroked his head. "That doesn't matter anymore, my love. What matters is that we're together again." It wasn't easy. The children were hurt, confused. Their parents' separation had shaken them deeply. But slowly, we began to rebuild our relationship. Robert rented a house 15 minutes from mine. We went back to the old routine, Tuesdays and Thursdays with the twins, Saturday sleepovers at Grandma's. We planted a new herb garden. Emma and Lucas tended the old pots I had kept alive all that time. We made pancakes again, watched dinosaur movies and warrior princess films. And slowly, the wounds began to heal. A year after the reunion, I was sitting in my garden with Emma and Lucas. They were laughing, chasing butterflies among the flowers. Robert came to sit beside me. "Mom, I'm so sorry. For everything." I took his hand. "Robert, you were trying to keep your family together. I understand. I should have seen what she was doing. We all should have seen a lot of things. But the important thing is that we're here now." Emma ran over to me, handing me a flower she had picked. "Grandma, this is for you." I held that small, delicate flower and felt my heart overflow. "Thank you, my love. Today I am at peace." Life taught each of us what we needed to learn. Jennifer lost the family she had, not out of revenge, but as a consequence of her own choices. I don't wish her harm, but I've also learned that forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. And if you who are listening are going through something similar, know that the pain doesn't last forever. The truth always finds a way. And true love, the kind we build with patience and presence, cannot be destroyed by manipulation. Fight for your grandchildren. Fight for your place in their lives. Because you matter. Your presence matters. And they will remember who was always there. And you, what do you think of this story? Do you think I should have acted differently? Have you ever been through something similar? Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if this story touched your heart, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes one person's story can be the comfort another person needs. See you next time. And remember, you are never alone.